I ain't gonna lie. I've been holding a lot of shit in lately. Man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry.
What do I owe the pleasure? What do I owe the pleasure? Last time we speaking together, we wash your car for you. We wash your car. We wash your car with no shame in our hustle. When you goddamn getting into that wash, and you know that tip gonna be good like goddamn this car. Y'all better start buying this slippery soap, man.
Girl, let me spill the tea, because 50 Cent just showed he's been playing the longest and coldest game in hip-hop history. Remember back in 2009 when Rick Ross came after him with that Officer Ricky drama? Everyone thought it was just another rap beef. But 50? Baby, he was playing chess while Ross was playing checkers. While Ross was celebrating like he had won, 50 was quietly watching. He was keeping receipts, observing every flashy car, every Wingstop rag, every money move. He didn't react. He waited, calm and calculated. He let Ross enjoy the spotlight while he planned the perfect time to strike. Now fast forward to today. Ross is everywhere, showing off his Checkers franchise, giving business advice like he's untouchable. That's when 50 made his move. If you were watching his Instagram last week, the hints were there. Shady captions like, "Some people ain't broke, they just fake it real good," and the chilling tick tick tick, time's almost up. People started whispering, but no one knew what was coming. Then, boom! On a random Tuesday, no promo, no warning, 50 dropped the first tape. No caption. Just cold, raw footage. And baby, the internet lost its mind. Group chats blew up, timelines went crazy. It was clear, 50 didn't just clap back. He flipped the whole table.
Just like New York, just like Mount Vernon, New York City, Mount Vernon, and Miami, all that is the same, bruh. Nobody wants to be near him. Nobody wants to touch what he touched, be where he at. You understand? It's crazy, bruh, how his fall from grace, which was never from grace. It's just like the devil just kicked him out of hell. Because he was never in nothing graceful and did anything graceful. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you say about, okay, he did the music, he had the bad boy legacy and everything like that, man. But, you know, a few albums, a few people, you know, made to be famous, but they not here to tell their story. Black Rob, Biggie, Craig Mack. They not here to tell their story, bro. And now you got everybody telling his story.
Yeah, and I know 50, he did a recent interview with US Weekly saying that the reason why rappers are quiet about, you know, Diddy's situation is because they've been to his parties and they don't know what got caught on tape.
Bro, those people who was caught at Diddy party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house. That's a big...
The reactions were like wildfire. Music executives held emergency meetings, PR teams went into crisis mode, and anyone even slightly connected to Ross or Diddy went silent. This wasn't a regular diss track or a leaked DM. This was serious and calculated. Cold and ruthless. 50 Cent had been quietly planning this for years. Just when Ross thought he was at the top, 50 pulled the ground right out from under him. The wildest part? Ross didn't even realize it at first. He was in a business meeting when his phone started blowing up. Calls, texts, non-stop alerts. His team was panicking. The footage had already gone viral. Ross thought it was just another one of 50's troll moments until he saw it. That confident smile disappeared. Reality hit hard, and if you think the first tape was intense, people are saying there's a lot more. 50's been holding onto a vault of receipts, waiting for the perfect moment. 14 years of silence, like he was writing a revenge movie with Ross as the clueless main character, and here's the kicker. That first drop? It was just the beginning. Now everyone's asking, what else is 50 hiding? That was only phase 1. What's next could shake the entire industry. Ross feels it. He's bracing for impact, while the rest of the game holds its breath.
But he had 250 tape recorders in that house that they took, that the feds found. So now with them finding all that and you being at a Diddy party, you know you may have done something that was caught on one of those tapes. You just better pray to God that they don't recognize you. Those people who know that they did something, no, they're not going to speak out. They're not going to say nothing. What part of the game is that? They are not going to come forward and tell on themselves. Nah, not at all. Ice Cube, he said it himself, bro. He said that Diddy's been targeted because of what he said about those folks and those people. Now, the people who was on those tapes may feel like Diddy might be targeting them. Because if he's asked about who is this, who is that, and he's under oath with the federal government, he got to tell them. He's not going to plead the fifth.
Yeah, I know that got to be a terrible feeling, man. You know you did something wrong at Diddy party, and you hoping and praying that it's not caught on tape.
But they don't think they did nothing wrong. That's their lifestyle. That's their lifestyle, bro. I ask guys all the time, if two men lay down, how many homos get up? What you mean? I mean what I mean. It's what it is.
Remember when Ross used to say he never did business with certain people? Well, baby, that's exactly why these tapes are making waves. Because the receipts? They don't lie. .50 has Ross caught in 4K, doing everything he denied for years, and this isn't some small mistake. This is real footage of Ross in very private moments with Diddy. And no, not just at business dinners or on red carpets. We're talking invite-only parties. Private settings. And Ross? Looking way too comfortable with people he said he didn't even associate with, but the part that's really shocking? The audio. In one clip, Ross is casually bragging about how he and Diddy arranged these special setups for new artists. He sounded so relaxed and confident, it's clear this wasn't just a one-time thing. It was organized. Planned. A whole system. People in the industry who saw the footage are saying this could get Ross blackballed. Because this isn't just dramatic, it's dangerous, and then there's the twist. The tapes line up with old rumors about how Ross rose to fame, stories he always said were lies. But now, they're starting to look like the truth. These videos show a new side of Ross, not just connected to the people he denied, but deeply involved in shady deals that go far beyond normal business.
I'm 100% factual, but it's somebody in this story of things that seems more reliable than others, Race, is what I'll say it, just to protect my sources. But this source informed me of who these A-list celebrities are on these tapes that are being allegedly auctioned off online and through the networks. And it's put me in a little bit of a bind because I like to be fully transparent with the audience. I want to say things, but I also realize from what I'm told, because again, I haven't seen them directly yet. I haven't, and I don't know if I want to. Race, I want your advice on that too. But the problem I have is just like, typically I want to report these things, but I got to be careful legally, ethically, morally as to what we report on here. Because as Ariel, the lawyer here, did admit, and I can attest based on the information I got from a separate, reliable source, people in these videos don't know they're being videotaped. That's a big issue, Race, right? Let's start out right there. If there are people on these tapes that don't know that they were being filmed, is that okay to talk about and to share?
I have a big problem with that, as do you, Andy. And you tend to be an ethical guy, and you're taking the high ground here. Notwithstanding the fact that you may have some significant information and reliable information, but the reality is that, look, I mean, if people were recorded non-consensually and you're the one to identify them, I think that's a problem, right? And I think anytime anyone has content, right, this is not an email, this is not a text message, this is video. And there's specific statutes, without using specific language I don't want to get into, but everybody knows what we're talking about here.
It's Diddy with this person. I'll say that. It's Diddy with this person. Actually, yes.
Yeah, and see, the problem is, again, like non-consensually recorded, you've got a victim here who may not want to be publicly identified. That's the problem. That's the problem. And they have a right to proceed if they want to, whether it's criminally or civilly, without being identified, because we know what's going to happen. As soon as they identify themselves, there's going to be a bunch of people that come out of the woodwork who are going to unequivocally harass them and claim that didn't happen, and they're making stuff up. And there's the victims that we want to protect here, and that's significant.
Well, it's interesting because here's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I know a lot of you are like, Andy, just say it. No, I'm not going to say them, but I wanted to have this conversation as to why we're not saying it and why I think others haven't yet said it, Raised, because, again, legally, ethically, morally, it's just not right. Now, there's an argument I've had with people who are like, well, they knew what they were doing with Diddy. Like, these were consensual acts. Like, they knew, and he filmed other times. So I don't know what the big deal is. It's going to come out. It's going to come out is what I keep hearing from other reliable sources. It may come out, but it's not going to come out via me. That's just to warn you all, because I don't think it's wise for us to put out something like you just confirmed it without the consent of the other person in the video. Because again, from what I'm gathering based on some of these tapes, and again, we're still learning more, and I haven't seen them with my...
The reactions inside the music industry? Completely explosive Point One top executive, who didn't want their name shared, said watching the tapes felt like watching someone's entire career fall apart in real time. Another person close to Ross's label said they had to call emergency meetings. Why? Because no one knows how many more bombs 50 might be holding. This isn't a usual rap fight. There are no diss tracks or private messages. These tapes make Ross and Diddy look very suspicious, especially with the other rumors already surrounding them. And the timing? Couldn't be worse. Ross has been building his business, Wingstop, Checkers, brand deals, but now all of that is at risk. And Diddy? He's already dealing with legal problems and media drama. This kind of scandal? Brands run away from it fast. Video proof? That's a nightmare no company wants. Ross's biggest fear is that every time he tries to deny or spin the story, 50 drops another clip. And one by one, Ross's lies fall apart. It's like 50's been collecting evidence for years, just waiting to strike. And when Ross saw what was actually on those tapes, that's when it all started falling apart. Rumors are one thing, but seeing yourself clearly in HD footage? That's a different story. And Ross's reaction? That's when this drama went from messy to a full disaster.
Isn't it weird that the government was so interested in Diddy's baby oil that they took 1,000 bottles away from his house? If the government took 1,000 bottles of baby oil and somebody had things what appeared to be baby oil, and then you have to listen to the prosecutor. He said that they seized 1,000 bottles what allegedly to be baby oil. Allegedly to be baby oil. So that's telling people that it wasn't baby oil. And people think that was baby oil, they out their mind. I don't believe it was baby oil. Yo, bro, when they went up in there, they knew what they was gonna find. They knew what was ever in that baby oil or that those bottles that appeared to be baby oil, they knew about that at first. You gotta realize 9 times out of 10, that individual that got caught at the airport, that was supposed to be their carrier, told them what they was doing and what they had. I wouldn't put him past that he told them everything. So when they went up in there, they knew they had to take whatever was out there, and that thing that appeared to be baby oil, they took that. They got to test every last one of them. Let's see how much, let's see how many of those come back to be baby oil. Bro, listen to me. Costco don't sell that much baby oil. Where you know sell that much baby oil?
Yeah, I don't know any store that sell that much baby oil. I know Costco, they came out and said that they don't even sell baby oil.
My sentiments exactly.
But you personally, right, what do you believe was in the baby oil?
If you ever seen a massage parlor being raided and they walking out the people, do they take the massage oil with them when they go? No, they just walk out the people who are being arrested.
When those phone notifications started lighting up at 3 in the morning, no one was ready. The storm had begun, and Rick Ross, he wasn't just mad. He was ready to burn it all down. Behind the scenes, PR experts were messaging each other in panic. Somebody needs to stop him before he destroys everything. His first response hit Instagram like a bomb. 15 minutes of raw emotion. No filter. No script. Just pure rage. He didn't try to control the damage. He didn't even deny the tapes. He went straight after 50 Cent. You could see it in his eyes. He looked tired, pacing like someone on edge. Every hour, something new exploded. First came the voice messages to anyone sharing the clips. Threats. Crazy accusations. Then Ross started digging up old dirt that hadn't been mentioned in years. His team tried to step in. They made official statements, called people in private, tried to calm things down. But Ross wasn't listening. He went back on Instagram Live at 3 a.m., dropping names, revealing secrets, making wild threats. Even his loyal fans were shocked. He wasn't playing chess. He wasn't playing checkers. He flipped the whole board, and then he crossed the line. He started leaking addresses. Not just 50's spots, but places tied to 50's family. That's when things got really serious. Suddenly, people started backing away. His PR team kept trying to shift the focus back to the facts. But every time they did, Ross would go online again and ruin it all within minutes. Behind the scenes, his phone was ringing non-stop. Business partners were begging him to stop, telling him to log off before he ruined everything he had built. What started as a PR problem had turned into a full breakdown. And now, no one knows how far Ross will go or how much more he might lose.
If you ever seen a person getting arrested and the people being arrested in those brothel houses, do they take out the stuff in the brothel houses? No, they don't. They take the individuals who are being arrested out the brothel houses. For them to take 1,000 bottles of baby oil, it's like that they did not leave one. They left people there, but they ain't leave not one bottle. Nobody needed no baby oil. So my whole thing about it is that there was something in that other than baby oil. That's why they took all the bottles. And 9 times out of 10, if I would give it a wild guess, it was, and like some of the people told me, it was probably that GHB.
What's that?
I think it's gamma hydrox. I looked it up, bro. Let me see if I can find it. I know this is just showing everything like that, but oh no. Let me. Yo, somebody tap dance or sing or do something, you know what I'm saying, while I'm doing this. Oh, here it go right here. It's gamma hydroxy butyric. What is its effect on the body? It's a euphoria, drowsiness, decreased anxiety, and memory impairment. It works on the nervous system and gives you this feeling of euphoria. So they take that and rubbed it on her, and you forget who you are, what you're doing. It can also give you memory loss, drowsiness, and that's under the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration.gov.
Ross's desperate moves came fast, and they were a mess. His team tried to calm things down by hitting 50 Cent with copyright claims to take down the tapes. But it was too late. Way too late. .50 had already spread the clips all over the internet. Social media, shady websites, private chats, you name it. The genie was out of the bottle and it wasn't going back in. Ross started spiraling. Sources say he spent millions trying to figure out who leaked the footage. He wanted names. He wanted revenge. But all it did was make him look paranoid and out of control. By morning, his Instagram was a mess. He had already broken at least 6 rules. His account was restricted 3 times. But instead of calming down, Ross went harder. Burner accounts started popping up, each one crazier than the last. His lawyers were in panic. Business partners started disappearing. But Ross just kept making things worse. Then came the worst move. He started dragging other people into the chaos. He named names, filled secrets, revealed industry drama that was never supposed to come out. He said who didn't pay for features, who faked streams, and who had shady brand deals. It wasn't just about 50 anymore. But Ross was trying to take down the entire industry. That's when the split happened. Some people sided with 50, saying Ross deserved it. Others said 50 went too far, holding on to dirt for 14 years just to destroy someone. But as Ross kept spiraling, talking about families, ending friendships, and destroying everything, his closest allies started walking away. This wasn't just a breakdown. It was total destruction. Watching Ross fall apart felt like watching someone burn down their own house just to destroy the whole neighborhood. And one thing is for sure, once you cross that line, there's no turning back.
Activities with other, A-listers having activities together is what this is. And again, that's a potentially outing of somebody as well. You know what I mean? There's so many things here that happen in releasing of this private consensual moment that while salaciously everybody wants to know, and people are messaging me all the time, Andy, who's waiting? And it's like, I'm not gonna say, because there seem to be way too many things that these people in the tapes, whether consensual, whether they, whatever, didn't agree to put out there. And I would think that's a legal issue too for anybody who puts these out first, no?
Yeah, you nailed it. You can't without the consent of the victim. That's the problem. Somebody thinks that somebody has no idea, right? You said, well, didn't they know they're being recorded? No. I mean, in these situations, the assumption is they did not know. And that's what we believe right now is the victims did not know that they were being recorded. If the victim comes out and says, okay, yes, I knew I was recorded, and a statement is provided, that's a different story. But of course, you don't know that. So you, Andy, probably can't be the one to break that ice and be like, well, this is what I heard and this is what I know, and so I'm going to say it. And there's all kinds of hairy legal issues on that, right? With privacy and intrusion on seclusion is what we call it. It's a privacy violation. There could be defamation implications. There could be criminal implications. So you're doing the right thing by treading carefully. And I think more people should do this rather than get into speculation. Now, if you see the videos, even still, right? If somebody takes...
Not to interrupt, but that's the question. Like, am I allowed to see these videos? Like, if I were to ask this source, show me the videos, do I put myself in worse legal jeopardy?
That's another distinct legal issue, right? It's like you're watching something that someone didn't know they were being recorded of doing, right? And so it's dicey. It's dicey. Now, it would be different if you were an attorney and somebody's coming to you for purposes of defense or prosecution of a claim, a civil claim, or the filing, of some action to recover damages. That's a little different. But for purposes of, hey, look what I got, juicy gossip, and there are reporting outlets that I won't mention that will do stuff like this. I don't know that it's the smartest thing to do. I don't know that it's the careful thing to do. That's for sure. Or it's the ethical or moral thing to do.
Yeah, it's exactly. I'm not a lawyer, but maybe this source will show you, and then you can verify what we know. But here's the other problem. Even if we verify what we know, like as I watched what Ariel, the lawyer, got these tapes, And even again, I don't want to get into the details, any remote details that could help explain or allude to even more of theories that are out there, or debunk or confirm. But I will say, hearing what I heard, which again isn't confirmation, but hearing what I heard, it makes me dislike what Ariel's doing even more, because I think there are going to be people out there, if this information does get out in some way, that are going to deny that these people are victims, that they're going to try to say, oh no, they're just consensually thing and they were hiding this affair and yada, yada, yada. And I don't see it that way personally. I mean, and granted, I haven't seen or know, like, this isn't somebody involved from what I've gathered in these tapes of them, doing it to others in a way, criminally, like we've heard in some of these suits. This is just, it almost feels like, again, if it's real, like blackmail material that Diddy keeps to sort of hold over these people's heads. And to me, that's awful to the people in it, whether they agreed or knew or whatever. It still just feels like that's no one's freaking business. And maybe they were doing it for reasons we don't know. Just because we saw it in the tape doesn't mean they weren't feeling pressured in other ways, right? So it's a heavy and complicated thing, but it's not a hard decision to say, I can't run with trying to even allude to these people.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, let's let this play out in the legal realm. If you ever get Ariel on your show, I'd love to talk with her and have this conversation if she's willing to do it publicly, because I still don't understand what her role is in all this. And I've heard at times broker, I've heard at times advocate for victim, and I don't want to judge what she's doing or not doing. I'd love to just have a conversation about it, because I personally don't get it, right? This is a very sensitive thing. Again, if this gets turned over to the feds and the feds bring claims and this is outed, that's a totally different story. But the feds do what they're going to do. Like what we talked about months ago on your show, right? When this first went down, we knew when hard drives were seized and things happened that, look, they're going to build a case. They're going to build a case that they think they can prosecute. It's not for us to speculate what's there or what's not. But to say, you have tangible evidence of something on camera that you've seen and that it's being sold in order to protect someone,
to avoid being publicly named, which is what even the lawyers are now admitting. It all feels really dirty and shady, man.
The only person that makes sense that could buy this is the victim, right? If the victim says, I don't want this to come out. Yes, it was consensual, but I don't want it to come out. I didn't know I was being recorded. Give it to that person.
Right, I guess, but you're right, because then they can actually own it. Maybe there is a version of this, and that's what Ariel's trying to allude to. You'll own it, and no other network's going to be able to buy it or show it if you own it and haven't given permission. I guess, is that maybe part of what they're trying to do here, in that the celebrity who buys it can actually then control it just from a clearance standpoint?
Yeah, it still raises some legal concerns, right? Because let me say it this way. If this was a transaction, if this is a business transaction wherein the victim is then acquiring the exclusive rights to this tape or tapes, and that the person who recorded it is avowing that they will not use it, I don't know where that leaves P. Diddy and the feds, right? But they have an independent right to bring this stuff to light if it gets prosecuted. But my point is, if you're transferring legal rights of this consensual or non-consensually recorded tape to the victim, I think that's a better position to be in. But then the question is this person even in a position to be able to buy the tape, right? Are they a high-level celebrity? Like, who are they? We can assume that they're celebrities with millions and millions of dollars to expend on something like this. Just raises a lot of questions.